Stop staring at your blank cardstock. Today, I'm showing you how to turn the gorgeous Sage Candlelight collection from 3/4 designs into a textured masterpiece using the three of my favorite techniques: weaving, fussy cutting, and heavy layering. Hi everybody, it's Kathy here, and we are going to use, as I said, Sage Candlelight to create an amazing layout today. These papers are fantastic. If you go back to my first video using Sage Candlelight, you'll see the full collection. But trust me guys, you so need to go and check out 3/4 designs and get on with purchasing these before they run out. So I love all of the images in here, and I love the papers. So I'm going to use some A side and B side. Look at this one here with the Lacin on it. It's just magic. I'm taking off 2 inches here. I'm using the B side of one of the papers as my base, and I'm using this one here with the lantern and the fence as my decorative piece on the page, and they're going to be what builds the whole layout. From the top, I'm going to take that 1 inch from there as well, and now I have my 2 pieces that I'm going to actually weave together. So I'm just going to trim down the edge so that there is a gap, because I do want that beautiful paper underneath to show through, and we're going to start working on getting this happening. Now I am using spruce pine as my distress ink today, and I'm going to use that to really impact all of my fussy cutting and also all of my edges, and that's really an important way of lifting your papers off a busy background, but also to give that husky heritage feel. I'm using a paper punch here that is a scalloped edge one. You could use any that you want, or you could leave it plain if you chose, but for me I'm using a scalloped edged punch because I want it for my lacing that's going to happen, or my threading down the center. Lacing is probably the better word, but I will be threading it with my needle and threading it through the hole, so both are of course fitting. So I'm just going through and I'm cutting down the edge so that I do have that scallop, and I always struggle with these punches. Doesn't matter how many times I do it, I still get it and I have an error with it. Vicky Booten always says start in the middle when you're using your punches and then work to the edges. It still doesn't matter. I still manage to not get it correct. I don't know. I must have a bit of a problem. I don't know. It's a visual problem maybe. I don't know. I just struggle using punches. Love them, but they are a nemesis. All right, so I am inking up all of the edges, and that's really, as I said, very important to make them stand out from your busy backgrounds. And really, we do want them to stand out from our backgrounds because we like them to be gorgeous, don't we? We want them to be singular pieces that stand out on their own. And what I've just done there is I've marked in where that's going to sit on the layout, because I want to use this middle piece on there as well. So I'm going to gut just a little piece of it, because I have a plan for it, and you'll see that come to fruition as we progress throughout the layout. And by marking it, I can actually just cut it without destroying where the pieces are going to sit on the layout, and they will sit perfectly then. All right, now that I've done that, we can start getting organized for the threading and placing. So to do that, I'm grabbing both of them and I'm lining them up to make sure that they will sit perfectly. I'm getting my stitch mat that I'm just going to push my awl through to put the hole in, and I'm putting it in the center of each of the scallops. And that's really important, because when I go to thread it, I want them to line up to give me like a lacing down the center, a bit like a corset down the center of your page. So by having this mat, it allows me to put those holes in quite easily. Now that I've done that, I can fold back the bottom here. I want that to be a feature on the page. And also we're going to be putting a piece in there that you saw at the beginning if you were paying close attention, and you would have seen how this layout is going to come together. So I am going to cut around with my craft knife around the fence post here. That's because I want something to slip in behind it, and I want it still to be a major feature on the layout. So by using your craft knife, it allows you to cut that exactly and to allow things to slip in and fit into your layout appropriately. Now, I always sharpen my craft knife with my regular kitchen knife sharpener. It keeps it really, really fine, and it keeps it really, really sharp, and that's why it cuts like butter. That's just a little tip. Don't go expending lots of money on blades. Just sharpen them. Sharpen them with your knife sharpener from your kitchen, and you will save lots of money, but you will also have a craft knife that is sharp and easy to use. I'm going to add a little bit of glue to the edge of these ones as well, because we will be threading. So I want them to be solid on the layout. I don't want them to be moving around as we are manipulating the paper. That's very important as well. So I'm going to line it up. I've got it going to go in to keep my framing, as you saw at the top. So it's about 1/2 inch to the border all the way around. And that's really important if you want that even and balanced look on your layout. Now I'm going to do exactly the same again. I'm going to tape up each of the pieces that need to be stuck down flat, and then I will also add glue to them because I want them to be solid and in place when I start doing the lacing. I don't want them lifting up, and I just want it to be a nice flat layout. So now that I've done that, I'm going to squeeze it through. I have terrible time with thin nozzled glue. I don't know why. What am I doing wrong, people? Let me know in the comments down below. It's always an issue, regardless. I don't know whether it's the hot temperature here in Australia, what it is, but I always have trouble with a thin nozzle. And I've tried metal ones, I've tried plastic ones, I've tried putting a pin in it, I've tried lots of things, but it always still has an issue, and it makes me cranky. In the end, I end up getting very frustrated and resorting to another sort of glue because I just can't do it. And I would just like it to work so that I could get nice fine glue happening instead of a mess. See, look how many times I put a needle in, I put a thread in, tried everything. I store it with the cap on it. It still causes an issue. I don't get it. Anyway, that's besides the point. That's just a me problem probably. I'm sure I'm doing something wrong. If you let me know in the comments what I'm doing wrong, please, that would be very helpful, because I do not like not having a thin nozzle glue. All right, so I'm placing that down now, and we can get started with building the layout. Any questions? Put them in the comments down below. If I haven't answered anything, or I've raised a little question for you, more than happy to answer. I'd love for you actually to interact and ask me things. Keeps me thinking, keeps my brain active, and also makes me think better about how these layout videos go, so that you understand. All right, so I'm using my white thread here that you can see, and I am cutting it so that I can thread it through. All of my brushes and everything are falling all over the place at the moment. I am having a terrible time getting things to stay in place. It's very frustrating. So I am going to thread my needle with a needle threader because it is a little bit thicker than the eye, and the needle threader allows it to go through smoother. So I'm just going to use it to allow me to lace across like a corset, as I said. Started in the wrong spot. Did you see what I was doing? I don't want the bow at the top. I want it at the bottom. So I've pulled that apart, and I'm starting again. And see how that's lifting while I'm threading? I didn't obviously put enough glue in underneath that one to make it solid, which is problematic, but that's okay. I can fix that as we progress. So what I'm doing is a zigzag pattern. I'm going to zigzag up, and then I'll zigzag back down, and that will allow me have the tie at the bottom as well, so that I can tie a bow. So this takes a little bit of time, and I wanted to leave it all in so that you could see. Lacing is one of those decorative things that you do on a layout that just adds that little bit of interest, a little mixed media. Anything is mixed media that is not flat paper. Can I just clarify? So most people, when you say mixed media, think the wet stuff. They think about your inks, your sprays, your gessos, your modelling paste, all of that. That's the immediate image that people get when they talk about mixed media. But mixed media is actually anything that is not paper, anything that is not your flat paper. So using thread like this to lace is mixed media. I'm bringing in another media to the paper world. Using buttons and metal and wood veneer, they're all mixed media because they are media going onto your project that is not paper. So just when you read about a mixed media, just remember that it could be not your wet mess that you're thinking, but an alternative media choice to paper. And trust me, there's thousands of them out there. Lots and lots and lots of things. Technically, ephemera is mixed media because you're adding that onto your paper layout. But yeah, because it's paper, they don't class it as mixed media. So today, as I said, I'm using the thread here to create this lacing pattern across the layout, and it looks very effective and it is visually lovely, and to touch is very tactile. And if you're a tactile person and you love the lumpy bumpy layer, then this is the one for you. So have a go at lacing. It's fun. It looks really effective. It's a grungy, steampunky, shabby chicy type of skill that you can use right across your layouts, and just adds that little bit of visual effect that's, you know, like a different way of bringing your papers together. And it does take a little bit of time, as you can see, and I have sped this up a little bit, not that much, because I really wanted you to see, and I know that people often ask to see it in real time, and so that's what I've done here. And this allows you to get the full effect of how this works to give you the desired outcome. So now that that's happened, I'm going to tie it together to create a bow. And I've got terribly large fingers, which makes it difficult to create a bow. And usually when I do a bow, I use a bow awl, but this one I had to free it. And look at it, it just doesn't sit properly for me, but that's okay. It's there, the effect is there. That's what it looks like up close, people, how you lace it, and that's the full effect there. Isn't it just dreamy on the layout? So, so cool. I love it. All right, this is a photo of my husband and I at a cafe on our Coffee with Cody train this year. We were at a place called The Rustic, and look at it. Isn't it just beautiful? I changed the photo to black and white because I wanted to use specifically on this paper range. I wanted it to not clash with the colors, and I'm wearing a bright purple shirt in that photo. My husband's wearing a blue shirt. It actually would have clashed terribly with the papers, but by turning it into black and white, it actually suits nicely and fits in beautifully with the color scheme. So that's another little trick. If you want a beautiful photo, you want to use a specific paper, but you know that the colors in your photo are going to clash, change the color of your photo. Put it into sepia, put it into black and white, you know, blue tone it. There's lots of different filters you can put over your photos, and they can all fit nicely into the color scheme of your layout if you really want them to. Okay, so I'm tucking that in behind that fence post. Remember I said I was lifting that fence post to tuck it in behind, and that's how I've done it. Now I have gone and fussy cut lots of elements out of the element sheet that was a part of this pack. Like I said, go back and watch the first video if you are interested to see the pack in full. I will put the link down below in my description box so you can go and check it out, and I do hope you do go check it out, people. Straight after this video, make sure you go and check it out so that you can check out the papers, and then you too will not be able to resist this beautiful Sage Candlelight collection. I am distressing all of the pieces that I fussy cut, and that's allowing them to have that smokiness, that vintagey feel to it, and it also allows it to stand out as a single element on the page, and that's really important when you're layering up. So even the leaves are being treated the same way. Now, you all know me if you've been watching long enough, and if you don't and you're brand new, please subscribe right now. Hit that button. You know you want to, because you know a lot more is coming with 3/4 designs, and a lot more I have in content coming for you. So hit that subscribe button. I really would appreciate it, and it also helps my channel to grow and be able to provide you with content and inspiration. So I'm just inking up the edges because, as I said, if you know me, I can't cope with the border that is not there. I can't cope with the fact that it's a flat edge. It just needs to be finished. So I'll either ink the edge, I'll either draw in a fussy border, or I'll mat the whole layout. But today I am inking the edges, and I'm still using that ink that I've been using all the way through, and it is just perfect for this color scheme. And seriously, people, you need to invest in a good range of inks to make your layouts work just harmoniously, regardless of the paper color scheme. All right, so here we go. We're going to start layering in now. Now that I've done that, I've got all my fussy cut pieces to the side, and let's start layering. And remember, that's the other technique. So far we've done lacing or threading. We've done layering now. So we're putting these layers in, and it's really, really important. And I'm just got that little quote that I'm popping there to the top. I have these lovely, lovely florals. They're gorgeous. They're just beautiful. And to fussy cut around them, I've actually gone really close and cut nicely. I'm tucking a little tiny lantern in to carry in the lantern from the left-hand side over to the right. And then I'm putting in the leaves to make those clusters lengthen both height and length for depth. And that's spreading them out, as you can see here. And that's just adding them to the layout, giving them that little bit more interest. I have gone and cut those two circle button type ephemera there from one of the papers, and I also cut another flower to the top, which I halved and I tucked in under that peekaboo at the top with the lace, and I also tucked it in underneath that cluster at the bottom of the photo. So that's adding more interest to the page so that your eye is now having a feast of roaming. So to calm it down, I'm adding in my 3 strategic sets of Nouveau drops to set up the visual triangle, and all that busyness now settles down for your eye, and you can just admire and take it all in one bit at a time, because that busyness has now been calmed by the triangle. So that's it, guys. That's a wrap this time round. What do you think? Do you like it? Let me know in the comments. What would you like to go and try? Remember, we shine brighter together is so perfect for us in the scrapbooking community. And I only shine brighter when you let me know what it is you like and what else you want to see. So leave me in the comments down below. Don't forget to go and check out 3/4 Designs, everybody. They really do have beautiful papers, and I'll have the links to them down below. The girls are from New Zealand, and I tell you, their paper is amazing. You will want it. Here's the layout. That's a wrap this time round, and I'm going to see you very, very soon. Don't forget to like, don't forget to hype, and most importantly, subscribe. Hit it now. Here's the next video for you, and I'll see you there real, real soon.